to the Metaverse and the Human Condition series, where we will jump into a discussion centering around the Metaverse. As always, I'm your host, Scott Catallo, and in this series, I will be discussing first what is the Metaverse, and then delve into how it is affecting the human condition by looking at social, mental, and physical aspects, both good and bad. Now let me tell you a bit more specifically what I will be discussing, and more importantly, what you will learn in this series. First, what is the Metaverse, and what are its origins? What are some of the pros and cons of the Metaverse? How is the Metaverse affecting our identity? What are the consumer aspects and applications for the Metaverse? And lastly, and most importantly, how is the Metaverse affecting what it means to be human? As this is quite a broad topic, and given what I've learned to this point in my still early podcasting career, I have decided to break this series and information into a few episodes, as not to bombard you, the listener, with an overload of information. Therefore, I will start with this first episode in the series titled The Metaverse in a Nutshell. In this episode, you will learn what the Metaverse is, how it started, what makes up the Metaverse construct, and some of the pros and cons. So join me as we get into the Metaverse. What is the Metaverse? Okay, I am assuming you have some general knowledge of the Metaverse. However, let me quickly bring you up to speed on the Metaverse before we get into how it affects our daily lives. To begin, let's define the Metaverse. Meta in Greek means after or beyond. And that's probably a pretty good place to start, as with the Metaverse, you will need to think beyond the world that we know to be reality. In its essence, the Metaverse is not only a virtual reality or gaming platform, it is in fact a parallel digital universe where people interact, create, and even work. The term Metaverse was originally coined in 1992 in Neal Stephenson's science fiction novel, Snow Crash. In the novel, Stephenson describes the Metaverse as a virtual world where the main character of the book makes friends, enemies, and transacts all through his digital avatar. And Spiceworks, the online tech source, sums up the Metaverse well by describing it as a universe of limitless, interconnected virtual communities, where people can socialize, collaborate, and have fun using virtual reality headsets, augmented reality glasses, smartphone apps, and other technologies. It will also include additional aspects of online life, such as social media and shopping. Now, the Metaverse, in my opinion, right now can very much be directly compared to the advent of the internet of the late 70s. And I state this as when the internet came about, there was a wide speculation and serious concern as to what it is and what it was going to be, and what it could do and how it was going to affect the lives of people and affect society in totality. I think we can all agree that there is and should be some cause for concern, as the internet has drastically changed our lives for good and bad. The Metaverse construct. Let's look at the Metaverse construct in simple terms. It's the parts and pieces at a high level to what makes up the Metaverse. The construct is also what draws people to this alternate world. It is the basic construct that makes the Metaverse so widely entertaining, fun, and addictive. The construct is really made up of 6 parts: the virtual environment, connectivity, user interface or presence, social interaction, commerce, and content creation. Let's start with the virtual environment. First, the main part of the Metaverse is made up of a course of virtual or simulated environments. It portrays a digital environment that users can access and interact with via various interfaces such as virtual reality, augmented reality, or traditional screens. The virtual environment is just that, a totally virtual world, whereas augmented reality kind of blends parts of the real world with the virtual world. Now, one of the biggest draws to this alternate world is that physical limitations are completely removed. as physical space is dematerialized in the digital world. The metaverse in this instant provides people with a wide range of experiences we perhaps can't currently enjoy in the real world. Next, interconnectivity. Different virtual worlds, platforms, and applications are interconnected, allowing users to move seamlessly between them and maintain a constant presence and identity. This also includes decentralization, as there isn't a single authority that rules the metaverse, as it exists right now. Scalable ecosystems will support business owners in providing a more comprehensive range of specialized digital items as the metaverse continually expands, enabled by really blockchain technology. Next, the user presence and persistence. Users have persistent identities and presence within the metaverse, meaning they can engage in activity, create content, and interact with each other over extended periods. Next is social interaction or human interfacing. The hardware layer of the metaverse must include human interfacing. In this manner, any virtual world can accept a person's body as a 3D realistic avatar. The metaverse facilitates social interactions, enabling users to communicate, collaborate, and engage in various activities with other real-time, similar to interactions in the physical world. I will discuss this in much more detail in future episodes when I discuss really the subject of avatars and how they provide identity, alternate identity, and what I call masking. The next part in the construct is economy and commerce. Now, the metaverse supports virtual economies where users can buy, sell, and trade digital goods and services as well as create and monetize content. As consumers, we all know how brick and mortar physical stores lure in customers. This can be done with building locations, incentives, i.e. sales, product placement, and giving a customer an experience. Now, as I stated earlier in my comparison between the beginnings of the metaverse and the internet eventually transposed into a thriving marketplace with the help of advancing technologies and especially the development of social media and e-commerce apps. The metaverse, however, is advancing into e-commerce with the help of Web3 technology. Now, in simple terms, Web3 technology is really the next iteration of the internet, or a companion internet, one that builds on the blockchain technology that is already inherent within the World Wide Web, and one that is controlled by its users. As e-commerce is such an immense part of the future of the metaverse, again, I will also be discussing this in later episodes of this series. And the last one is the content creation and customization part of the construct. Here, users can create, modify, and personalize their virtual environments, avatars, and digital assets, contributing to the richness and diversity of the metaverse. This is where the metaverse drastically differs from the internet comparison, in that the metaverse is and will be using AI for content creation, as it already is doing. Additionally, content creators will use AR, VR, and NFTs, or non-functional token, and cryptocurrencies. The main content areas for creation, according to Entrepreneur Magazine, are as follows. The personalized content. Personalized content is important for the metaverse. As I stated before, the metaverse is about experience and personalizing content to further boost personal engagement. Personalized content also helps companies communicate their metaverse products and garner, you guessed it, more clicks. The next item is customizable content. It's not enough to personalize content. Today's users must have control, or at least a sense of control, over the content. With customizable content, the idea is to give users more control over how they want to tailor their experience within the metaverse to meet the specified needs. The next item is collaborative content. Collaborative content involves an association through partnership, which can help build branding. Such examples are co-hosted webinars, starting a movement and slowly adding partners to it, newsletters, and providing shared events. The next subject is community-driven content. Now, community creation is one of the biggest draws of the metaverse, as it allows experiences that support the diverse needs of people. LinkedIn is a good example of such content, as they target specific prospects and engage them with personality and personal content on a regular basis. Finally, the immersive experience. The metaverse offers immersive experiences through advanced technologies, as I stated, such as VR, AR, haptic feedback, and spatial audio, enhancing the sense and presence of realism for its users. This includes a technology infrastructure that powers people's gadgets and connects them to the network and distributes content is really part of the infrastructure layer. In a sense, the experience is what draws people to the metaverse, as it allows users to fully immerse themselves in a virtual world that can include anything from exploring digital worlds, playing games, attending concerts, or even shopping. Immersive technologies, which in some cases we already have been using, include 2D interfaces, which really include our smartphones, 3D, VR, and AR, as I previously discussed. Spatial interfaces, similar to what we know as Siri and Alexa, that help us out in our daily routines. Extended reality, and generally speaking, these are devices in the form of headsets and Oculus devices, which are made to enhance and extend real-world experiences that create simulations. Again, the experience is the most important feature of the metaverse, as it allows the user to attend virtual events, travel to exciting places, interact with products, build specific skills, or further education. Some of the top current experiences include virtual concerts, scavenger hunts, digital art galleries or museums, conferences, workshops, and online communities such as Discord, Telegram, and LinkedIn. And currently, some of the most popular metaverse platforms are Sandbox, Decentraland, and Roblox. Pros and cons. Before I get into future episodes of the series surrounding how the metaverse affects the human condition, I wanted to give you some of the current pros and cons of the metaverse that are really on everybody's minds. Therefore, I will start with some of the positive or pro aspects of the metaverse, and we will start with increased connectivity. The metaverse can facilitate greater connectivity, allowing people from around the world to interact, collaborate, and form communities regardless of physical location. The metaverse can expand opportunity. It opens up new avenues for work, education, entertainment, and providing opportunities for economic growth and personal development. It can give enhanced creativity. Virtual environments in the metaverse enable individuals to express themselves creatively through art, design, storytelling, and more. Improved accessibility. People with disabilities or those who face mobility issues may find the metaverse more accessible, as virtual spaces can be designed to accommodate various needs. Global collaboration. The metaverse enables global collaboration on projects, research, and initiatives, breaking down the geographic barriers and fostering innovation. The same can be held true for video gaming, which I do discuss in my video game episode. In psychology, the metaverse can create opportunities for individuals to consult mental health professionals uniquely and potentially more comfortably by using avatars. Using avatars can particularly benefit individuals with high social anxiety and interpersonal trauma levels. And now the cons. Now, in doing my research, there seemed to be more cons than there were pros, but I'm going to let you, the listener, make your own decisions. Now, for the cons, the digital divide. Not everyone has equal access to the technology or resources required to participate fully in the metaverse. Now, this is a concern also with the internet in some places. Privacy concerns. As more personal data is generated and shared with the metaverse, there are increased risks to privacy and security. Now, a big one that does concern me is escapism and addiction. Excessive immersion in virtual worlds could lead to escapism from real life problems and potentially contribute to addiction or detachment from reality. Again, I use the video game analogy here because it's very similar. Social isolation. While the metaverse offers connectivity, it may also lead to a reduction in face-to-face interactions, potentially creating feelings of loneliness and social isolation. And in a very small part, I kind of discussed this in my workplace series as it relates to remote working. The economic disruption. Traditional industries and jobs may be disrupted as more activities move into virtual spaces, potentially leading to unemployment or economic instability in certain sectors. And right now, one of the biggest issues is there seems to be no regulation or oversight of the metaverse. And I think in an odd way, that is what's leading to a lot of the concerns surrounding the metaverse. One of the big ones is, as I talked earlier, addiction. According to a Library of Medicine abstract, VR provides a more real and immersive service that can cause blurred recognition between reality and virtual. Recent research has shown that VR gaming is more addictive than other forms of gaming. This addictive nature can be because the metaverse is based on multi-sensory interactions involving auditory, visual, haptic, which is another word for touch, feedback, and a 3D feeling of space. Replicating reality is considered the most addictive characteristic of media. Previous research has also suggested that feelings of spatial presence can lead to stronger emotional arousal and enjoyment. Metaverse will be the most realistic media thus far and will thus be considered the most addictive form of media. Next, and probably one of the biggest, honestly, is the antisocial behavior, cyberbullying, and cybercrime. Now, people in a virtual environment can feel more confident when acting in discriminatory and aggressive ways, causing sexual harassment, racism, homophobia, and I again discuss this, and it takes place within the video game communities as well. I discuss this in some detail during my podcast again episode, Video Gaming 101. This should come as no surprise to those using the internet for as many years as we've been using. Cybercrime can be used to develop and target adolescents as well. Sexual abuse in adolescence has been frequently reported, and teens lacking morality and support are considered more vulnerable. The metaverse, as stated earlier, is much like the internet, and it offers an autonomous opportunity to act out in a virtual world on things that they wouldn't do in the real world, which leads into the more concerning of negative effects, identity confusion. And this is my last con on the metaverse. In the metaverse, users can use various forms of avatars, and the sense of embodiment can lead to identifying users with their avatar. In real life, users can escape from their negative selves using an idealized avatar. However, virtual profiles can simultaneously provoke habits of comparing oneself with others, leading to unrealistic standards of beauty and lifestyle, and worsening body dysphoria. However, virtual profiles can simultaneously provoke habits of comparing oneself with others, leading to unrealistic standards of beauty and lifestyle. Despite the social concerns, the metaverse, much like the internet, is not going to go away. It's only going to get bigger. It is expected that companies such as Facebook, Apple, and Google are investing hugely into this technology, as it is an industry that is expected to be an $800 billion market just in 2024. I hope this gives you an understanding into what the metaverse is in a nutshell. As I said in my intro, the goal of this episode was a precursor to give some background knowledge ahead of the next two episodes, which is really the main focus of the series, entitled What the Metaverse Tells Us About Being Human. As we conclude, remember that the metaverse isn't just a distant future, it's already here. evolving before our eyes much like the internet once was. So whether you're a digital explorer, a tech enthusiast, or simply curious about what lies beyond, stay curious, stay connected, and keep exploring the infinite possibilities of the metaverse. Thank you for tuning in to Where Do We Go From Here with Scott Catallo. Today we dove deep into the ever-expanding universe of the metaverse. From virtual realities to interconnected digital realms, we explored how this emerging concept is reshaping the way we interact, work, and play. We discussed the construct of the metaverse as well as some pros and cons. As always, I appreciate your support, and don't forget to subscribe to Where Do We Go From Here for more insightful discussions on cutting-edge technology, social trends, and remind your friends to subscribe. As a reminder, this podcast can now be heard on Apple Podcast, Spotify, YouTube, Amazon, and iHeartRadio. As always, I welcome your feedback and questions on this particular episode, and if you have ideas for future episodes, I always love to hear them. For any such feedback, feel free to contact me at catalloscott@gmail.com. That is CATALLOSCOTT@gmail.com. Until next time, embrace the virtual frontier and continue to journey with us through the realms of innovation. Thank you always as listening, and I will see you in the metaverse. Till next time.